Good day, everyone. And aside from this being the greatest month for Halloween, I just discovered it got 20% cooler for also being Applejack month. Yep. Interesting trivia about myself. Next to the first Equestria Girls movie, Applejack was one of the big reasons I got into this fandom in the first place. I'll get into my Equestria Girls experience later, but afterwards, while I did like the movie, I was still a little on edge about giving the series a real chance or not. And as luck would have it, I stumbled onto some pony comics that dealt with AJ and, what supposedly happened to her parents. From there, one thing led to another, and I stumbled upon my first episode of Applebuck season, which I loved. So, bring on her special month, and bring on my review of her. So since my theme is to ask if all the main six have some sort of mental handicap, I figured it's Applejack's turn. So, what's Applejack got? Some sort of anger management disorder? Well, to be honest, after giving it some thought and going through a lot of research, my diagnostics is Applejack may be a normal person, what I call a normie.
Oh no. The horror! The horror! It was awful! A disaster! A horrible, horrible disaster! I don't get it.
So, what do I mean by that? And why can I so confidently say Twilight is autistic or Rarity has OCD, yet I say someone like Applejack is normal? Well, I think the answer to this comes from why she's often considered, I hate saying this, but best background pony. Anyway, when we look at Applejack, we see a character for, more or less, a character with rather few flaws, which, in turn, creates few story possibilities. Not to say that she doesn't have any flaws. She gets easily offended, feels extremely honor-bound, and does have some evidence of some anger issues. Yet, while these problems do arise in an episode here and there, we more often than not see Applejack be the voice of reason rather than anything else. We often see her in Sleepless in Ponyville when she sleeps Rarity out of her OCD fit. We see her later try to be the voice of reason when Twilight snaps. And when Discord tries to disharmonize the main six, he aimed for Applejack first. Why? Well, my guess is she would have been the most qualified to bring everyone back to their senses, which could also be argued it was the reason, even if unintentionally, Twilight went for Applejack first. It kind of goes to a saying I came up with back while I was going through a phase a lot of ASDs tend to go through, where we think we are superior beings with a vast amount of intelligence who see normies like Applejack and my parents as inferior and irritating creatures, who the world would be better off with just because they don't understand us. Yet, looking back at that time now, I realized one of many things kept me from going psycho were those same people who I thought were crazy. The normies, for lack of a better term, set the rule to keep me from being destructive, kept the balance so I wouldn't lose control, and in turn, I improved upon myself, created a lot of interesting content, and became a rather intelligent and mature young man. Well, either way, if Applejack were a normie, I think she'd be a great example to us abnormals, to learn that we do need normies and other people in our lives, no matter how frustrating they can be at times. While we can think outside the box and come up with incredible things, we just as well need normies to guide us and set the rules, so we don't wander aimlessly and just do whatever we want. And that's what Applejack is. A little full-headed normie of a pony, who still has her own problems that doesn't make her human pony safety. Oh, just tell me you know what I mean. Well, if there's one thing we can learn from Applejack, it's, even if she is a normie, her own flaws and problems can show us all that the only normal person is an abnormal one. I'm the Autistic Pony, and happy Applejack month.
You're welcome!